Good afternoon, everybody. It's John for Father's Rights and my anti-human trafficking page. Some of you guys who've been watching my last video seem to have a misunderstanding about what I'm talking about. So what I did is I went to Legal Match and I pulled up the law of educational neglect and how it turns into abuse. This explains it right here, and I'll put it inside. Well, I did put it in the last video. I just added it in, but I'll also put it in this video. Let's read this. Now, you all know my daughter's been out of school starting from 3 years ago. She was at 17 days, and we were warned. My wife took offense to that, moved out, and immediately, when they hit 20 days, CPS came over here and raided my home. Even though they warned her after that, after those 20 days in 2022 to 2023, that school year, even though they warned her, she still accumulated another 19 days that same year, almost doubling the allowable absences from CPS in New York City. The next following year, 2023 to 2024, she racked up 58 days so far. It's 20, so we're talking almost 3 times the amount allowable by CPS. Now, the problem with that is when CPS tells you, hey, your kid's got to go to school, you need to cut this out, it's child neglect. Neglect is when you do something by accident. But when they tell you that this is neglect, it's no longer an accident and you keep doing it, it's child abuse. And let's go down the line and I'll read it to you. What is educational neglect? Generally speaking, you are the most likely already familiar with what the terms educational and neglect mean on their own. Together, however, they might not mean what you assume, which begs the question, what is the definition of educational neglect? Educational neglect is a concept found in family law. It can be defined as the failure of a parent or legal guardian to provide for their child's basic educational needs. For instance, when a child reaches a certain age, usually mandated by the laws of their state, that child must be either enrolled in school, homeschooled, or given the necessary special education training. It's entirely up to the child's parents or guardian on which method to use, so long as their child is learning by the requisite age. Although this rule typically applies to younger children, it may also include any minors that are still dependent on their parents and under the age of the majority in their state, typically around 18 years old. It should be noted, this is the important part, it should be noted that educational neglect can sometimes be classified as a form of child neglect and or child abuse under the law. The primary difference between neglect and abuse is that neglect tends to happen accidentally, while abuse usually involves causing intentional harm to a child. Currently, there are 24 states with statutes that list educational neglect as a type of child abuse. My lawyer is going to be calling CPS, and on that, I'm out of here. And I will be recording and presenting that interaction between CPS, my lawyer, and myself on this channel. And on that, I'm out of here.